Welcome to the European Parliament and to a very important conference. I'm so sorry that I cannot be there with you in person, though I'm there with you in spirit. Michael Landau is someone who I have known for a long time, and I have admired his work in doing poverty alleviation. He's the chairman of CGTI Global, and is also a man, an entrepreneur, a man of great foresight and courage, who has spent much of his life in Africa trying to end poverty and empower the African population with sustainable development. Over the past 15 to 20 years, I have been instrumental with other members of the European Parliament in spending over 450 billion euro of the taxpayers' money, giving grants and aid to many people in Africa. But none of that money has actually ended poverty. In fact, you might say that it has created a sense of dependency. It is a fact that where the EU has not given money, like for example in Southeast Asia, these countries have grown phenomenally and become the Asian tigers. And where the EU has created a dependency, those countries have remained in poverty. Not because of, but I suppose instead of. Now we need to break this cycle, and we have done it. We have understood that giving just grants and aid doesn't work. What we have to do is to empower people to create wealth. And wealth can only be created if there are sufficient investment funds that can be brought to play. The Sustainable Development Goals require $2.5 trillion of funds to come to meet our targets. It is impossible to ask our taxpayers to give $2.5 trillion further in taxes when our own schools and hospitals and infrastructure in Europe require extra funding. So what did we do? We thought hard about this and came up with a new idea. That is to use the initial grant aid as mezzanine finance to leverage investments. Like what you do. You go to your bank and put £1,000 in your bank account, the bank is allowed to lend £10,000. In the same way, we have now used some of our grant aid, in fact, the first tranche, 4.1 billion euro, to get 68 billion euro of investment funds from the money markets. And these investment funds will go into the developing countries with the same rigor and diligence and oversight as any investment that is made by any company or any bank in any business venture. It will not be frittered away. It has had to be constrained, checked, and seen that it is properly functioning, because that money has to come back. And we are creating a virtuous cycle then, because those funds will create investments, the investments will create profit, the profit will be returned back to the fund, and the fund will grow. Now, Michael Landau is one of those key people who in Africa may be able to benefit from these funds. And so Michael is here to explain to all of you and to the Commission how his projects may qualify, may be able to be part of this new process by which we will empower Africans to help themselves, not give them fish, but to give them fish nets so that they can catch fish. Good luck.